you can't record all this stuff. I was like, and it would make a book probably. Her parents didn't like Dad, and they didn't encourage it, but I guess Mom was stubborn, and she gave up her family and to come to Illinois, and on horseback, and I guess she had a good life here. I mean, Dad didn't work on the farm. My uncle, his brother, lived with us, and he did the farm work. And I guess Dad kind of supervised us kids, but he wasn't a very disciplinarian. He couldn't handle something, he'd call Mom and say, so-and-so needs help, needs some attention. He came to Illinois and they got married, and he worked on a farm around close to Pawnee, and he was on medication, and the baby was just in the crawling stage, and he got into the medicine and it killed him. And my mom used to walk miles every day to adjust. But she was a good manager. She plugged along. She made the money stretch. We got a pair of shoes when school started, and they had to last till school was out. And we padded them with many layers of cardboard. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a group of older people that just had square dancing at various people's houses. You just clean out a room, and they'd come in, and that's the room they'd dance in. You couldn't have a lot because the houses weren't that big, and the room where they danced was not that big. But there was probably maybe 3 couples. There would be 6, and then... But Mom would just dance with one of the men. They'd ask her to dance.
That was okay?
Yeah.
Well, who would you dance with?
Well, we didn't dance. Kids didn't dance.
Oh.
This was all adults. We would just have to find our own and play something.
And
it was up to everybody to take some kind of food.
Uh-huh.
And I so looked forward to going to those dances because somebody would bring bologna. And bologna to us was like steak.
What would you take?
My mom, when she butchered, she always cut the tenderloins and things like that. She'd always cut them, and they didn't have freezers, so you had to cook them. And then let the grease get hard.
Mm-hmm.
That was a preservative.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that's what she always took, was tenderloin.
Well, what did they do with it?
You could make sandwiches out of it.
You just open it up and slice it and put it on bread?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Did that taste good?
Oh, it was high on the hog. Oh, yeah.
How did you brush your teeth?
You didn't put much effort on that. I'm surprised. The first time I went to the dentist, I had 16 cavities. I remember that. But I was in high school then. Well, you hoped everybody'd stay outside, and then you took a bath around the stove in the dining room.
In the dining room? What was the tub like?
No tub.
What do you mean?
If you had a tub, they brought a wash tub in and put warm water in.
Otherwise, how would you wash if there's no tub?
Well, you just do a sponge bath.
You had water in a wash pan and a sponge.
No sponge. Washed it.
A rag.
Washcloth, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
What? What?
You washed, but you didn't necessarily have rinse water.
All right, so you just kind of...
Yeah.
Uh-huh. How did you wash your hair?
Probably every 2 weeks.
Did you make your own soap?
Mom did, yeah.
How did she make soap?
You saved your drippings, and she used lye, and I don't remember what else she used, but and then she got it get solid, and then she just cuts squares or blocks.
Did the soap smell good?
No. There was no fragrance. It was functional. That's about all you could say for it.
Did it get you clean?
I guess.
Is that what you used to wash your hair?
Yeah, that's one thing.
What did you use to wash your dishes?
The same thing.
Same thing.
And clothes and everything's the same.
Everything.
We didn't have a simple life. I guess we had a simple life. We didn't have it got us to where we needed to go, I guess.
Grandma, what is your favorite food?
Food?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that I have a favorite. There are just some things I tolerate and some things I enjoy. I had a lot of things I had to tolerate.
Like what?
Well, some of the things I eat now that I think about and I liked, that now I don't know that I would ever taste them. Like when I was growing up, we had butchered and we had brains, and I really liked brains. Tasted good, but I wouldn't eat them. I wouldn't eat them now.
Did it look like brains?
No, but I don't know how Mom cooked them with a lot of eggs.
Oh, sure. It all looks the same then.
Yeah. Well, actually, I used to like liver, pork liver, and I ate so much after we butchered. I ate so much one day that I woke up in the night and I was sick, and I vomited on the bed and whatever.
What would your mom have done if you vomited on the bed? Did she get mad?
Well, she said, well, probably, I don't know if she got mad, but didn't you know you was going to be sick? Didn't you? Couldn't you raise your head? Whatever. Because it wasn't the laundry process was not a good, simple thing. That was a community thing. All the farmers got together, and sometimes they would bring their own hogs, so that would just be a joint effort for. And they'd have these big pots of water that they would probably have heated all night, and they'd put the hogs down in there and lifted them back out. I don't know how they're heavy. I don't know how
did they kill the hog?
Oh, I guess they just must have shot them, I guess.
And why did they dip them in hot water? To get the hair off?
Get the hair off. And then after you scrape it off. Once they got to the point of where they were skinned and they took the meat off of the hogs, And the hams, she would, and she was supposedly the better one in the whole neighborhood that knew how to mix the brown sugar and the nuts, the salt and the pepper and the white sugar and make it into just a mixture of dried stuff. And my mom knew exactly how to take it in her hand and go in around the hip bone and work all that loose. And then they had to wrap it up and hang it, and it dripped. And then they, once it quit dripping, then they would put it away for the rest of the season.
What were your chores on the farm?
I had to get the eggs, gather the eggs, and maybe pump the water for the horses. And as I got older, I learned to ride a horse, and I'd go out to bring the cows in.
You would?
Yeah. And I was impatient, and I brought they were all in the barnyard, and I went for the horse to feed up, and it reared up, and I slid off the back. Landed on my butt. Oh, we used to laugh a lot. and I think I was resented by some of the others who'd been there longer, because he would just kind of say, "Are you up for so-and-so?"
Like, what would he, so he would invite you to do things?
Yeah, well, I was working on, we printed that book.
Mm-hmm.
And once it went into print, and then, but getting it ready to go to print was time consuming, you know. Yeah.
And the others resented you because you were selected for the book.
I guess. Because I just come in and I was new, and I got all these neat projects or whatever, you know.
And how much did you make?
I went to work, I made $90 a month. But I was green as grass because we'd never been anyplace. And my mom wanted to go with me on my interview, and this one friend of mine, she says, "Nora, you cannot go. Virginia's on her own." I was involved with the first serious suitor, but his mom told her daughter-in-law that she wished we'd break up, but she wouldn't tell him. So the daughter-in-law told me. So I just told him.
Do you think she said it to you so you would break up with him?
Yeah.
She wanted you to break up with him because they didn't want a Catholic.
Yeah, didn't want a Catholic in the family. So, and I told him, and he said, that doesn't matter to me. I said, we can't enter us into a situation like that with the family. So,
do you think you would have liked being married to him?
oh, probably. He was kind of fun, and he was good, and he was good to me during the war because we couldn't get nylons and stuff like that, and he'd come across some place when he was in the Navy and buy them and send to me, you know, but that was meant to be, I guess, right? Just part of growing up. And then when Dad came along, I guess I was still adjusting to Bill being gone. My girlfriend and I decided to go. It was just a 4th of July dance at church. And we decided to go up there. And I don't know, this young kid asked me to dance. And that was history then. No, afterwards he took me home. And before he took me home, we went over and parked by the side of the road because there was no places available where you could go. So we just sat there and talked. And so that's where I guess he said his name was Joe Anderson, you know. And that he worked at such and such a place in Springfield, but he didn't.
He didn't work there.
That was the night I met him, and then that was on a Saturday night, and then on Wednesday night, he came and got me out of a movie theater, and then he told me he confessed all this, that I wasn't true. He didn't work there, and his name wasn't that, and whatever.
How did you know you were in the movie theater?
He went to see Mom, went to my house, and he asked, and she said, she went to the show with such and such. So he asked at the theater, could he go in and get me, and they let him.
You weren't mad?
Pardon me?
You weren't mad?
No. I didn't care. I was missing the movie. So then he gave me his true life, I guess you'd say. I guess you could say that Jane was kind of her adoptive son, because she didn't treat the other nephews like she did him.
Why did she like him best?
I have no idea. Maybe I want to be nice. Maybe she liked me, and so she. I don't really know. It was just seemed like a natural thing, and she would have been a good mother, but it didn't work out that way. I don't remember birthing at all.
Not one of the three? You don't remember it?
I don't remember.
Probably because you were drugged up.
It must not have been impressive.
I would think it's impressive. So you don't.
I don't think they would have given. That was before they were knowledgeable of all these things you could do to alleviate pain.
I think that they gave you drugs. Probably a lot of them. That's why you don't remember.
I don't know. This is dumb, but Karen's memories. She doesn't forget things more than the others. But well, she would walk we'd go to church in Pawnee, and they'd go uptown to the drugstore and have a Green River, I think.
What's that?
It was some kind of a drink. I don't remember what it was, but they used to go up there and have a Green River after church. And they would, some of her cousins would walk with her when she was, took her a while to get up there.
Yeah.
But it made me feel that she was kind of an equal to them, even with her other problems. But they accepted what she could do and what she couldn't do.
Yeah.
Janet was always good. She could always tell when I was down in the dumps or depressed or something, and she tried to perk me up.
What would she do?
I don't know. She just. I don't know anything specific. Maybe she'd just make a comment that bring me out of my mood or whatever.
How old was she when she did that?
Oh, she was probably, I would say probably about 8 or 10. I mean, she was still in the process of growing. The other day I was thinking about, we were going up to Mom's. And that was before your mom. And we picked up a soldier with his backpack. He was hitchhiking, and put him in the back seat with Karen and John. Then we took him to the bus depot in Springfield. And we got back to Pawnee, and we got ready to go in the house, and we said, John, where's your shoes? Well, he didn't have any shoes. So we had to turn around and go back to Springfield and try to find on Christmas Eve a store that was open. We found him a pair of shoes.
Why didn't he have shoes?
He had taken them off and I guess he put them in some pockets of the soldier's backpack.
He gave them to the soldier?
Well, not intentionally, it just seemed like a good idea at the time, I guess. He took them off and he thought, well, I'll just stick them in here. And
Did he say that he meant to give them to the soldier?
he didn't even acknowledge that he did that. Because Gene was a little perturbed at him. Of course, he was probably only maybe 4 years old, so he didn't realize what he was doing either.